This week I'm driving a bit of an icon. It's the Ford Mustang GT 5 litre. That is proper American muscle, that is. But is this the sort of car that we buy in the UK? Let's find out. There's been a lot going on in America over the past few weeks with Trump and his tariffs and the stock market going that way. It's a bit odd. Like, we do buy into a lot of American stuff. Obviously we buy their technology, their iPhones, their films, their burgers, but we don't usually buy their cars. I'm not supposed to be in this lane because I'm going left, but I'm pretty sure I can beat this Kia Ceed away from the lights. That's what Mustangs are for, aren't they? Here we go. Easy. For starters, it's actually quite easy to drive. You'd expect it being a Mustang to be massive, and it kind of does feel quite big. When you look in the mirrors, you can see these massive arches and the big wing out the back, the bonnet extending out quite far in front of you with these two creases in it, which make it feel like a big car. The mirrors are massive, but it's not actually that big. We have an S-Class coupe in at the moment, and that is vast. You park that next to anything in there, including the G-Wagon, it makes things look tiny. But it's not a small car, it's not small sports car size. I wouldn't call it a rival to a Cayman or an M2 or anything like that. People buy Mustangs because they want a Mustang. It's as simple as that. From the rear particularly, this car looks brutal. It has a lot of presence, particularly with these upgraded wheels on it. It's a striking looking car, and people look at it, people admire it, some people don't admire it. But there's no denying that it has presence, and it's been massively successful for Ford in its 60-year history. Some specs you probably already know about this car, but I'll just run through them. 420 horsepower-ish, 390 foot-pounds of torque, and 0 to 60 is about 4.8 seconds. It's not completely rapid, but American cars have never been sort of silly quick, unless you're looking at the new Corvette ZR1. It's all about blasting away from the lights, making some noise, occasionally having a bit of a squirm at the rear end, and just looking good whilst you're doing it. Personally, I don't fully buy into the Mustang lifestyle. I prefer sort of smaller, more delicate handling cars, and I'm not a massive V8 fan. I love the E63S and things like that, but I prefer 6 cylinders, 10 cylinders. I'm a little bit weird. One thing I'm quite keen to keep my eye on is fuel economy. I've reset it for this trip. I've done 2.2 miles, currently at 12.5 mpg. The Ford Mustang has had a very long history. It was introduced in the early 60s and it was such a hit. If you want a masterclass of marketing, the Mustang story is the one to look into. They were brilliant. They've sold over 1 million of these things in 60 years. And considering we don't see them that often in Europe and the UK, mostly in America, these sales, it's just a massive feat. And they were clever. Obviously, we know about the Bullitt Mustang, we know about Eleanor and Gone in 60 Seconds, proper hero cars. They did to the Mustang, in a sense, what Fast and Furious did to the Skyline, things like that. It's a hero car, but there's more to it. This car was reasonably affordable when it was in the 60s, but even so, it wasn't affordable to everyone. But they had genius ideas. For example, Ford teamed up with Hertz, the hire car company, to buy a big fleet of Mustangs, the GT350, and they ran them through their Hertz fleet, and they had like a bit of a membership program, which basically allowed people who can't afford to buy a sports car to rent them and use them. And it was just genius. What it ended up with is a car called the GT350H, which H stands for Hertz. And it was just a stroke of genius. And what it was really was an extended paid test drive for those people who hired them through Hertz. and it worked. Hertz did extremely well out of it. It really helped cement the Ford Mustang and the Shelby brand, who were also involved. And the Mustang has just lived on ever since. Yeah, it did get a bit fat and horrible in the 90s, but they kind of returned to form in the late noughties and in the teens, particularly with this model. It's a very interesting car. This car was designed from factory to be sold in Europe. So previously you would have had to have got a left-hand drive car, which no one really wants that in the UK. It's so awkward going through McDonald's. So this is a right-hand drive car. It's been designed to sort of suit European tasteful standards, because we're all very tasteful in England. Fuel level low, 25 miles. That is no surprise. It's not going to stop me giving it some beans though. Put it in sport. Let's go for it. Oh, that's actually a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be. That was really quick actually. I didn't think it'd be that fast. It takes a moment to kick down, but once it's gone, it flies. This is an automatic 6-speed, works really well. They did do a manual one, but I don't think I'd enjoy that much. It's the sort of car that you want to get into and kind of just go, put your foot down, brake, put your foot down, steer. Easy. But yeah, it's quick that. I have driven one of these before in slightly damp conditions, and you have to be careful. They're not that planted in that kind of weather. But in the dry, that was rapid. This car has driving modes, which was something relatively new for a Mustang. It has sport, race, comfort, and like wet weather. I'm just leaving it in comfort at the moment. The steering's quite heavy. I don't think I'm in the heaviest steering setting. Let's have a look. Steering feel normal. It's quite heavy and normal. Put it in comfort. Feels the same to me. Just a bit less sort of directness. But yeah, immediately you get the impression that you know what this car's all about. It's about cruising, it's about bumbling around, making a bit of noise. Not too much, it's not that leery. I was sort of expecting the sound to sound quite crazy and visceral, a bit like Eleanor in Gone in 60 Seconds. That was a crazy sounding engine. In a way I want it to be like that, because this car's about being an event, isn't it? But regulations and all that stuff probably get in the way of that. But it's a very easy car to drive. The interior it's nice enough. This car is really good value, especially when it was new. It was around 30 grand, and you can spend that on a Ford Focus RS or even like a very high spec Ford Mondeo at the time. So it does offer really good value for money, considering the engine, the performance, the looks of the thing. But it does suffer a little bit inside. You do get some materials which are, to be desired in a car like this. But that's quite an American thing. Everything's quite big. The architecture kind of harks back to the 60s Mustangs, which I really like. But everything's quite big. It's a big car, it's a heavy car. It weighs 1,900 kilos. And sometimes you can disguise that weight by being clever with the interior design. It's a weird statement, I know, but bear with me. We had a Porsche Macan in last week, and that's also a heavy car. It is a family car, but it's nearly 2 tons. For the size of it, it seems like quite a lot. But it doesn't feel that way when you're sat inside, because it's well designed, the steering wheel's lovely, it's quite crisp interior. The way the centre console is kind of lifted in the centre, it really helps to make the car feel a bit more small and delicate, and that tricks your mind into thinking it's a light car. With this, not quite the same. Everything feels big, like the buttons are big. They remind me a little bit of the buttons that you'd get on like a 15-year-old Land Rover Defender, but it's designed to be that way in a Defender, so you can press them with gloves on. In this, I'm not wearing gloves, just get me little delicate buttons, and I think that would help with how this car feels, make the steering wheel a bit smaller, make the buttons a bit smaller, the airbag unit, make that smaller. So as a result, you're driving around feeling like you're driving a big car. But like I said, the people who want this car just want it. They don't care about that. They may even see that as a benefit. Big car, big engine, big power, big thrills. Let's try it round a roundabout. I don't know what to expect here. I'm going to go into manual mode, sport. I'm expecting understeer, or hints of it, but I won't be surprised if the rear end wants to play. Yeah, the front's just a bit vague, it's pushing a little bit. It's set up for safety because a car with this sort of engine size, if the rear goes first, you're in real trouble. I've just tried using the manual gearbox. I probably would just leave it in auto, to be honest. It doesn't add much to the driving experience. I think this car suits just being in full auto. Let it do what it needs to do. Kickdowns can be quite entertaining, so just let it get on with it. I'm having reasonable fun in this. The thing for me though, it just looks fantastic. It's very comfortable, it's reasonably quiet, which I didn't expect. It's well equipped as well. We've got heated and cooled seats, we've got a really good stereo system. It's the Shaker stereo. I don't like the name of the stereo, it makes it sound like a kitchen cabinet. We've got loads of buttons to play with, we've got touchscreen, infotainment. I don't know if we've got sat-nav on this, it's not a standard feature. Yes, we've got sat-nav, that's good. I'm actually really impressed with the engine. I think it's good work by Ford. It's smooth, it's not too ostentatious with its sound. It's got enough torque for what you need it for. It's got plenty of torque. Power output is modest for this size of engine, but it doesn't need any more really. You can get this with a 2.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine from the Focus RS, which I'd be interested to try actually. I know a lot of people just think, what's the point? And I sort of agree with that with the type of car that it is. But fuel economy, what are we on, 18.9? To be honest, I don't know if anyone can back me up on this, but the Focus RS engine probably is not going to get you too much more than that. So is it worth it? Nah, I'd say not. Get the V8. Bumpy bit of road, let's see how we get on. It's not too bad. It's not harsh or anything like that. I think the 911 GTS deals with it a bit better. I went over there today in that car, and it has got a more sophisticated damping system. This has a proper suspension setup on the rear, unlike previous Mustangs. It's fully independent. So it rides all right, it rides well, as you'd expect, I would say. One thing I'm struggling with is air conditioning. We have aircon, obviously, but I cannot for the life of me work out how to direct it towards my body. It seems to be blowing everywhere else but me. Mystery. I do like some of the design touches in this. I love the dials. I love how it says ground speed for the speedometer. I don't know why it would say ground speed. It hasn't really got any links to the aeronautical world, but if you want to say ground speed, then fine. And then revolutions per minute instead of RPM. It's just quite nice. It just adds to the theatre, really. Just the fuel economy is okay, 19.1. As you could probably notice on this drive, I've just been cruising. I think if you have a heavier right foot, you're gonna be drinking a bit more. But I've got a quarter of a tank on the actual physical dial. and I've got 21 miles to empty. That is just surely not right. Quarter of a tank, 21 miles. 4 times 21 is 84. This will not do 84 miles on one tank, surely. I'd expect it to do 200. That's not great, is it? Okay, just on that, I've put 30 quid of fuel in the car. We've got just under half a tank, and we've got 145 miles left to empty. So it's not actually as bad as I thought it was. It's about probably 300 miles on a full tank, which is okay. I can live with that. Another downside of this car, and it's not the car's fault, it's UK government, is the tax band is the top level for this, as you'd expect. So it's a 740 quid a year road tax. And if you want a Mustang, you've got to pay it. Simple as that. It's about 65 quid a month. Just part of it. One thing I do respect about these cars is they're quite reliable. We've sold quite a few Mustangs. We've sold Mach 1s, 5 litres. I don't think we've sold a 2.3. And I think the only issue we've ever had on one was a tyre pressure sensor. So it's nice, the engine's not overstressed, it's built well enough, and generally they look after their owners. And that's a real positive, I'd say, on a used car. Because some cars, they get to a certain age and you think, oh, I wouldn't touch that. Like E60 M5, things like that. I'd love to have one of those though. But cars like this, I think I could feel very comfortable just buying one used, as long as it's got good service history and it's in good condition. It's going to look after you. Lovely little thing. Big thing, should I say. Oh, it feels big. Absolute bargain as well. £23,000, just under. That's a lot of car for the money, that is. That is a lot of car. Something that looks like this, what else can you get for 20 odd grand? Like an E-Class coupe. Yeah, it is more European. But it doesn't sound like this. It's a fair argument.